All right, let's talk about one of the biggest mysteries of human experience, attraction. I mean, why are we drawn to certain people and not others? It can feel like magic or maybe fate, but what if it's something a lot more predictable? Okay, let's get into it.
It's a question we've all asked ourselves, right? When you really stop and think about your own relationships, or even just the ones you see around you, what is the real force at play? What's the thing that actually pulls two people together?
You know, if you ask most people, you're going to get the usual answers. Oh, it's just love. Or there's a lot of chemistry. We have so much in common. Or my personal favorite, it was meant to be. And look, those things might feel true, but they're kind of surface level, aren't they? They don't really explain that deep, sometimes totally illogical pull we feel. They're just not the whole story.
So what if the force that brings us together is less like a happy accident and more like physics? The source material for today's explainer suggests that attraction works a lot like two magnets. You know, each one with its own polarity, drawn together by this invisible but incredibly powerful force.
And this brings us to the core idea here, the magnet theory of attraction. The theory basically says that what really brings us together isn't just that we both like hiking, but that we have these interlocking needs. A specific, and this is key, often completely unconscious need in one person is just instinctively drawn to someone else who has a complementary need.
So here's the crucial twist. We've all heard that old saying, opposites attract, but this theory reframes it completely. It's not really about a shy person being drawn to an outgoing person. It's that the specific neediness in one person is a perfect magnetic fit for the corresponding neediness in someone else. They just click together because, on a deep level, they fulfill something for each other.
Which, of course, leads to the next big question, right? If we're all walking around with these powerful magnetic needs pulling us around, where on earth do they even come from? Why does one person have this deep need to be a rescuer, while someone else just seems to need to be rescued?
Well, the answer seems to lie in our past. These needs are often forged in our upbringing, in our personal histories, especially things that happened in our childhood. And here's the kicker. For the most part, this stuff operates almost entirely unconsciously. We have no idea that these hidden forces are steering the ship.
Let's look at a real-world example to see how this plays out. Okay, so we have Betty. Because of some really tough stuff in her childhood, she developed this unconscious belief that she was, well, worthless and that she deserved to be punished. Then you have Arturo. He lost his mom and had an angry father, so he grew up with this deep, terrifying fear of being abandoned and a powerful need to control his relationships to feel safe. See how they fit? It's tragic, but her need to be punished was a perfect magnetic match for his need to control. And the thing is, this dynamic between Betty and Arturo, that's not some weird one-off story. It's actually a perfect example of these predictable, recurring patterns that we see play out in so many relationships, all driven by these invisible magnetic forces.
Let's break down a really common one. You've got the superwoman. She's instinctively drawn to partners she feels she can fix. Her need is to rescue. And who does she find? The victim, whose core need is to be saved. It seems like a perfect match at first. But what happens down the road? She starts to resent his weakness, and he starts to resent her for always saving him. The very magnet that pulled them together becomes the thing that drives them apart.
And here's a much more intense, destructive pattern, kind of like what we saw with Betty and Arturo. The abusive controller needs total dominance just to feel okay, and they're threatened by any sign of strength from their partner. So they are magnetically drawn to the victim/martyr, someone who carries this deep unconscious belief that they did something wrong and actually deserve to be punished. It creates this awful, self-perpetuating cycle.
Now, not all of these patterns are so dark. Take a pairing you've probably seen a million times. The adventurer, who craves excitement and risk, is drawn to the stabilizer, who offers routine and security. To the adventurer, the stabilizer is a safe harbor. To the stabilizer, the adventurer is a thrill. But you can see the conflict is baked right in, can't you? Sooner or later, the adventurer feels trapped by the routine, while the stabilizer is a nervous wreck from all the unpredictability.
Okay, after hearing all these patterns, it's pretty easy to think, wow, this is kind of a bleak picture of relationships. And it brings up a super important question. Is this whole magnet theory just about dysfunction? Is every single attraction we feel based on some kind of hidden damage?
And the answer, thankfully, is a huge no. Not at all. The theory works across the board.
Just like unhealthy needs pull people together, healthy needs do the exact same thing. The magnetic principle is identical. It's the nature of the need that's completely different.
So, what's the real difference? Well, an unhealthy need comes from a place of emptiness. It's all about finding someone to fill a void, to fix you, to complete you. A healthy need, on the other hand, comes from a place of wholeness. It's not about healing a broken past. It's about finding a companion to share a journey with, to enhance a life that already feels complete on its own.
So, what's the big takeaway here? How can we use this? Well, it all starts with self-awareness, just trying to understand the unconscious needs that might be driving your own magnetic poles. From there, you can start to spot the patterns in your relationship history. And really, the ultimate goal is to consciously shift your focus away from finding a cure for your past and toward finding a companion for your future.
But I have to say, breaking these old patterns is not easy. And if you ever doubt just how powerful these magnetic forces are, get this statistic from the source material. 75% of wives will forgive a husband's first affair. Now, this isn't about judging forgiveness. It's about illustrating the incredible grip these interlocking needs have on us. They can keep us stuck in patterns, even when those patterns are causing us a lot of pain.
So, we'll end by turning this all back to you. Knowing what you know now about this magnet theory, what unconscious needs do you think might be shaping your attractions? It's a pretty deep question, but honestly, answering it could completely change how you see your relationships forever. Thanks for watching The Explainer.